everyone, welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to Pacific Paradise, and welcome back to this island we are creating. We are on the PC version of the game, the Steam version of the game, and for anyone who's new here, we are just going to run through the controls real quick. Well, I say new. I don't really know, maybe you're just not subscribed. Anyway, yes, controls. We are using W to go forward, S to go back, A to go left, D to go right, Q to go down, E goes up. You push and hold the right mouse button, that pans the camera around, but wait, there's more, there's always more. As we close in on the beach and grab the yellow life raft, we are going to use R to rotate, T to transform, C copies all clones, delete deletes, and if you have something selected, press F, that focuses. But there's more? Oh, even more! Yes, if you have these brushes, we have 3 of them. We have raise and lower, we have set height, and we have smooth height. Say you're going around the outside of your island, smoothing the sand, and you have the amount slider cranked all the way up because that's the best way to use that tool. And then you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to just raise a little bit of land. You left click now. That amount slider is inherited between all 3 brushes. You'll left click and put a spike all the way up inside Lex. Late 90s sci-fi spaceship. And that will be very bad indeed, since Lex once ate Holland. So what you need to do is you take the amount slider and you crank it all the way down. And if you make a mistake, save often, because the best way to correct that is exit and reload the map. There is no undo. And yes, I did say Holland because in season 4 of Lex, they referred to it as Holland as Lex ate the place. But we do know it's called the Netherlands. Anyway, that's a long way of saying we have a volcano, we have a caldera, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of the island. We have 3 of them with stuff on and 2 are blank. And then the center is deliberately left blank because, well, we're still working on it. So let's just do a quick recap. We have a forest, a hillside forest with cooked pines, which is very nice. We have some things to climb and jump on. We have a building, and we have trees on the beach because the depth of the island here, even though it is still quite deep, because it's on a hillside, it doesn't look as deep as it actually is. We also have a path. So we have a path that runs up near the lava flow. We have a metal walkway which runs across the end of the lava flow. Underneath is a tunnel, so you can swim out to sea from the caldera. We have this pathway up, and we also have these 2 posts, which are a running theme in the maps. They denote a path. We have a boat in the middle of the caldera, and that just gives us an idea of scale. And then last time what we did is, well, we've been working on this area for a while, in fact. We have the groins which capture sand. We have a wreck of a boat next to a jetty, which we're going to need to do something with, and I'm not happy with the way it is just at this moment in time. We have the start of our Mediterranean hillside, which is looking pretty good, I'm going to be honest. And then what we also have is a building. Oh, interesting. Yes, we have a building, we have a radar tower, we have a staircase that goes down inside it, so you can't really go too far into the structure, but we do have a staircase. We have a plant, we have some rocks, and if you do make it down in here, we have a little way out as well, which is kind of neat. So around the Pacific, I do gather there are a bunch of installations that were put in during the 50s, 60s, and 70s by the Americans. And they were just like, you know what? We want an outpost with a radar station on it, or we want a weather station, or we want to grow glow-in-the-dark mushrooms. They were doing all sorts of things during that period of time, but that looks pretty good. Unfortunately, there are some caveats, because in order to build that, we had to put some stuff under the island. Let's go under the island. Boop. There we go. We have a fortress. We have a container ship. There are some, well, more caveats, I guess. There's always going to be compromises with this. So we have this under the island. We have this under the island. These 2 are going to be generating boxes, containers. Now, the containers are physics objects, and unfortunately the player is not going to be able to get down here. So the more of these things you put on the island, the more physics objects you put on the island. It's not too bad. It's all spread out, and they're not going to be moving. So possibly it'll be okay. The real issue with the container ship is that at the front, red containers spawn, the big shipping containers, which means they might protrude through the ground. Now I think it's deep enough here that that won't be a problem, but towards the front where we had to add some rocks in order to cap off the front of the boat, there might be a possibility of a container poking through the ground at this point here. I think it's deep enough that that won't happen, but when we come to test the island, we are definitely going to need to keep an eye on that. And that's good. So we have this here, and then we have this blank area beyond. And I did say we do need to do something with this. Because a player, if they do run up here and they get to this point, which is, let's face it, it's an interesting point. It can be seen all the way around the island because of this tower. In fact, you can see it if you stand on the Caldera on the other side of the island. You can see the very tippity top of that. And it is something the player is going to be drawn to. But once you're up there, you just have this blank area here. Now, we could put trees and rocks and stuff here, but that would be kind of boring. We got plenty of trees and rocks, so why don't we do something a little bit more interesting? Why don't we go to structures, and why don't we grab Seafort 2 and then left click and drag that from the toolbox. We're going to drag it down into the terrain, and then we're going to shuffle it backwards using the toggles. Yep. Now, let's see. I'm going to drag it out for a little bit. We've got these structures, these little armatures on the side. Now, what I want is not the entire fortress. No, because there's a little bump, little lumpy bump right here that I think we can utilize. So what I'm going to do is utilize it by having this poke out of the ground somewhat. Now that just snapped onto something in the background. If we go up, we can see that we have snapped onto one of the cliff structures. And that's a bit of a problem. The more items you have on an island, the more likely that is to happen. So just keep that in your mind as you're moving stuff around. If this jumps for any reason, well, it could be that it's jumped onto something in the background, and if you move it, you'll be unaware of what you've moved, and you will be very sad. So I'm just going to move this back a little bit. Let go, and it's jumped again onto something else. So there's this kind of flat area here. We could probably rotate that if we hit R to. Yep, that is the R to rotate. Okay, good. So I'm just moving that. So it's mostly hidden. I really do want this sort of pulpit here, so the player can see this and go, ah, wonderful. I'm just going to stand here and grab hold of this. Maybe grab hold of Marilyn Monroe and say, "Ich bin ein Berliner," which doesn't mean that you're a small pastry. It does mean that you are from Berlin. It is the correct way of saying that. Oh, yeah, it's a myth that it means you're a small pastry. But wait, there's more. Of course there's more. This is just, it's a sort of similar structure to that over there. I want it to be smaller deliberately, and it is lower in height as well. So why don't we add another sort of mast to this? So we scroll the way down. Shipwreck 7A, yes please. You hit R to rotate, and then we're just going to have to rotate you around and sort of jiggle you into place. Lots of jiggling going on. All right, so R to rotate, and then what I want is the mast to be up. Now, the thing about this is the rotation point is actually on the side. Oh, so is the movement point. It's a bit of a weird model, this. Now, I don't mind if some of this actually pokes out of the ground. Not minding that much in the slightest, if I'm going to be honest. It's kind of cool. It adds to the story. And it makes it look very different. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So we go to terrain. I'm going to change the size of the brush down because it's way too big. Hit lower. Bring the amount slider up slightly. And then just click on this hillside here. Yep. I'm just going to brush some of this back. It doesn't matter that it's kind of steep under here. There you go. Nice. And then maybe just do the same thing here. So the player can walk along the top unimpeded. Let's smooth that off. Crank the mount slider up. Smooth this off. Nice. So we just got this curious little structure here. I kind of like that. Terrain objects, so we don't have anything selected. Shipwreck 7A, wow, can we do something with that? Or can we add another building? So we've got a building on the other side. We could add something here, like in between these two structures, which would just link these two together. I don't think putting buildings this close to the actual lava flow would be advantageous for us at the moment. We could do that. Now, does that mean jamming another ship into the ground? Well, yeah. I mean, we could literally do this. Fast rotate, T to transform, and then jam that in. Rotate it over. And then we have to be a little bit careful. Why? Because this thing will have barrels on its deck. So the best thing to do is actually drag it so this platform is down in the terrain. Oh, alright. Okay. Yes. Kind of like that. Well, it might be the barrels do poke up through the ground, half buried. That would be interesting. It would be interesting. I'm just looking at the windows. Speaking of windows, let's go through here. Yeah, there's a window there and a window there. And a steering wheel. I mean, the game doesn't give us that much in the way of tools, but whatever. Whatever. Alright, we'll bring you up a little bit. And then we'll see that we've got a bunch of boat here, so we will press T and drag you down a little bit. There you go. There you go, that looks good. So terrain, objects, nothing selected, and then we're going to go back to terrain. Look at that amount slider, it's going to catch us out. Hit lower, change the amount slider down, and then carve this out. So I'm going to pull the amount off the stop, and then brush this back. And we're going to need some trees and stuff here, I feel. Because why not? Why not? Oh, yeah, so it's a collection of buildings, like a military installation. Yeah. I don't know, I just imagine that there's plenty of islands in the Pacific that have military installations on them. So what we can do is actually go to read terrain paint height, click near like a bit of terrain that's kind of close to the surface, this sort of metal catwalk. So now we have the terrain paint height, we can just fill that in. Oh, alright, yep. In fact, I want it slightly lower than that, so I'm going to go slightly lower, click it again. And then just, there you go. It's a bit better. But it also means we can just push the stuff out of here. There you go. There you go. And then we get the camera out of there. Can we just push this back as well? Yeah, I don't want to end up with a huge gap that the player can fall down. That would be hilarious and bad because the player would then get stuck. Hilarious? Yes. Bad? Oh, yeah. Is there a portmanteau of hilarious and bad? Not really, I don't think. Can't think of one, nothing comes to mind. What's a portmanteau? It's when you take two words, shorten them and slam them together. So we'll hit raise and we'll just probably use a smaller brush, in fact. That'll do. Maybe just get rid of this bar so you can just drop down into here. Oh, alright. Yep. There you go. And then we'll smooth it across the top. Using the smooth height tool, just take some of the rough edges off. Let's see if we can just manage to tweak this so you can just walk in here. Maybe raise. Okay, raise that up. Clickety click, clickety click, clickety click, clickety click. And then smooth this here. There we go. Now we know. Now we know. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah. Alright. So we will retrain paint height from the inside and then raise this bit up as well. Just along here so you can just jump over this. There you go, and then smooth that off a little bit. Just rapid clicking. I do like the sort of leg there, as if it is being supported. Okay, good. That looks pretty. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. With the smooth tool, what we'll do then is we got this big old lump of stuff here. We are going to crank the amount up. I'm going to crank the size up a little bit, and then just kind of use the smooth tool to just kind of rearrange this terrain, so it's a little bit more contiguous between these two structures. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's a bit more believable. Yes, and then this sort of shoulder here. I might just put a rock here. Yeah, no, maybe not. Maybe that's exactly what we needed to do. So we have a structure here, a structure there, and a structure there. Okay, cool. Objects. Shipwreck 4A. Alright. So I'd like to use this. Where are we going to use it? We could put it down below. We could put it up here. It's a nice chunky bit of metal. I do like this just as a decorative item. Now we can have it in a bunch of ways. I kind of use it as something like a fuselage or just a bit of reinforcement maybe. That might be a cool thing to do. Just have it just as part of the structure here. That might be interesting. Or maybe what we could do is back it up, pack it in. So we're just going to find a way of placing this. I think we just jam it in the back. It's like a large piece of metal. And then we just don't explain why it's here. Really? Yep. Might be a good idea. Is it a radar installation? Is it, I mean, what is it? Specialized bit of kit? Who knows? But by adding these three pieces together, 1, 2, 3, we have now just created something that was here. What is this? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, terrain objects. We haven't got anything selected. So yeah, we're just adding bits and pieces. So we have a huge structure, and then we have building, and then we have whatever this is going on here. Cool. But wait, there's more. There's always more. There's always more. Let's grab some rocks. We need to dress it, decorate it, and just kind of add some je ne sais pas. Right. Rocks. Shoreline rocks are really good for this. I do like the old shoreline rock. I'm going to rotate that around. That's not the rotate that I wanted. Oh yeah, the shoreline rock it's hollow on the underside, so you can't flip it over. Oh, you can't? No, and if you do grab the wrong toggle, it's fairly easy just to reset it. This is what I want to do. It is? Yeah. Because otherwise the rocks are all kind of looking the same, and that's not great. What we can do then is probably C to copy, T to transform, slide this down here, and then just kind of like jam that in. Yeah, good. Why would we do that? Yeah, it kind of looks like a bit of a rock fall. Oh, the terrain is unstable. That's our story, and we're going to stick to it. Good. Let us grab some more rockety bits. So I think big rock. I don't really want cliff pieces here. Big rock is fine. So let's have that popping out the terrain. Nice. So I just kind of want to keep this terrace as a terrace. That'd be quite good. But these rocks just indicate that. I mean, this is a geological feature. This is young geology. So having rocks and things poke out of the terrain is not something that would be out of place. We do need it in such a way that the player can jump on them. I want the player to be able to jump, hop, skip, and jump on things. So there we go. Yep, that's good. Good. Excellent. Good. And then terrain objects. So I want stuff growing through here. You do? Yeah, it'd be nice to have something growing through here. And I think maybe if we jam a rock in as well. But that might be fine. That might be fine. It just allows you to stand up on top and go, oh, and have a little look from above. Beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, we got a load of stuff. Terrain objects. Now, this is fine. This is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's fine. I mean, anything you say 5 times must be okay. But if you go to Ficus Tree 2, grab Ficus Tree 2, hit R to rotate, and then move it over, rotate it around. So you got a branch that goes over the top. T to transform, drag her back. And what you want is this branch. Oh, hello. Can we get you back? There you go. This branch actually going over this area here. So as you're walking through, you've got the greenery breaking everything up. And again, it's like, whoop, it's breaking up sight lines. Breaking up sight lines? Yeah, now you're having a hard time seeing what's over there. Good, excellent. What about here? Oh, excellent question. Glad you asked. So we'll hit up not items. Not items. Can't use items, not here. Not while people are watching. Hit R to rotate. Let's put a rock in. T transform. And then I want a cocoa bush. You do? Yeah, so what a big old cocoa bush. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Put a big old cocoa bush in it. Yep. Slam that into the rock. Drive it down a little bit. Because there's not much in the way of like greenery up here. So we're just gonna have to bring our own from the garden centre. Sermon. Why not? Rotate so you can see the flower. Cool. That's just a little thing. A little thing, that's kind of neat. And then we can probably do something similar over here. So we got some greenery, terrain objects. So we got this up here. Can we? I really do want to jam a cocoa bush in there. So what do you do? You're hiding all the stuff that you've just made. Yeah, why not? Well, nature isn't going to sit around and wait for you to come back and use whatever this is. Nature's going to reclaim this territory. Nature's just going to get busy doing stuff. Cool, excellent. Terrain objects. Yeah, that's what happened during the lockdown. Nature wandered back into the cities and just started doing nature stuff. The deer and the antelope, they were playing. Well, they were, in the streets. In the streets, terrain objects. So yeah, half the fun is just like making stuff, and then the other half is just like obscuring it with things like ficus trees. Now we can have ficus trees here and just allow you to cut them down. Well, you allow the player to cut them down. So we got the various cuttable ficus trees. See, which is probably a good idea. But ficus tree 1 and ficus tree 2. Now I think ficus tree 1 here, T, transform, drag it into the ground, R to rotate, and then just obscure that corner there. Now is that going through the metal? I do kind of like the idea that it's just growing through the I-beam. So we'll come down, just drag that. Not so much that it's actually growing through the I-beam at the top. So I think that's fine. No, there you go. So nature is reclaiming this area. A little bit green over the top. I don't mind that so much. T to transform. We can just move it down if we want. Actually do. There you go. There you go. We need something here as well. Terrain objects. Nothing selected. I think probably a tree down here. So ficus tree 2 probably. Yeah. Yeah. So R to rotate, and suddenly this whole area is starting to, with the addition of nature, we have the cool stuff, and then we have the realistic stuff. Boop that in. And just make sure the tree root is in fact in the terrain and not hovering or just accessible from the bottom. Move that up slightly. Kind of cool. Okay, so let's rotate this. Let's see which way looks better. I think. See, we've got. I think there should be a branch here. There's a bunch of textures, but there's no physical branch. Curious and more curious. Okay, fine. That'll be okay. Good. Train objects. Let us throw an aloe in here. Because I do like the idea of there being an aloe here. Good. Terrain objects again. So it's just so we don't have anything selected. Otherwise, you can accidentally have something selected and move it in the background without knowing it. And we've demonstrated that before, because I believe it's a function of Windows that allows that to happen. Terrain objects. Cerumen. So these big ceremens are quite good for just adding a ton of greenery in places where there wouldn't normally be greenery. And it breaks up that grey. Good. I mean, already. So if we put another tree in here, something here, you know. So this still has a view out to the outside world. I don't want to completely obscure this. So yeah, just something. Like a tree 1 maybe? Yeah, I think that's probably a better bet. Here. We can put some palm trees in as well. Palm trees are obviously destructible, so I'd like to put in the indestructible trees, make everything look nice, and then buff everything with the destructible trees. There we go. So we have a gap in the tree line, so you can stand here and just be like, I can still see, but like sight lines again, slightly obscured. Area here looks a little bit naked. The ground looks a little bit. It does though, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So rocks. Ooh, we could put a cliff piece in. Nah. Shoreline rock 1. No, because if we let go, we'd never be able to. Oh, that does look good though. Do I want to do that? It does look good, but if we let go, we'll never be able to select it again. Let go. Alright. That snapped. Like I said, we'll never be able to select it again. That lives there now. That lives there. And that you can't click and drag either. So yeah, I don't actually. Nope. What is that? That's this, because we know where the toggle for that is. There's probably like a pixel that you can select. But yeah, Shoreline Rock 1, you can't move it once it's placed. So if you're going to place it, as soon as the thing jumps off, that's it. That lives there now. A cautionary tale, but a tale to be sure. I like that though. I like that. Something here. Yeah, just a little bit. These small rocks can just get poked out of the ground. There we go. And then another one. Maybe. Here does feel good though. Yeah. Okay. Terrain objects. Right. Good. Excellent. So what have we done? We've actually done quite a bit. And then this area here. Okay. Right. Okay. Do feel this, but I think this isn't all right for this area. Small rocks. I do feel the small rocks are probably going to be a bit more, a bit better for this. So T transform, drag it out as much as we can get away with. Because the grass textures, we don't want them clipping through. Small rock 2. Yes. Yeah. I think that's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, that's good. Something here though. As you're walking along the top, you're just looking down straight at the sand, and although it's fine, it's not perfect. Just want some greenery here. Naan, maybe? Nana plant's good. You jump on them. It's disconcerting though. Ceramon. Yeah, Ceramon's probably what we need here. Teach transform, move it, drop it. Okay, rotate. Yeah, that'll do. So look up here. Yeah. No, I really want a Nana. Good, put a banana in, would you? Yes, I'll do it. Rotate it so it's not clipped into the rock. You know what? That's probably fine. It's in the dirt, so everything's fine. Now this sand is slightly obscured by rocks, by various bits and pieces, but then the player is not going to be hovering 16 feet off the ground, which, as everyone knows, is 4.4 million meters. 4.4 megameters. Anyway, structures, door. Alright. And we can get the height of the player by bringing a door out of the toolbox, and the player is not going to be any higher than the door because the player goes through the door. And now we can kind of see how the player is going to interact with this environment. There's plenty of room for them to move. They can run down the side of the hill, which they probably will. They can even run up the top. They can jump on the roof if they want. Hello, I'm on the roof. They can go inside. Yeah, they can come across here. They can go stand there and give a speech about being a pastry. And everything's looking a bit more interesting. With the trees and everything, breaking line of sight. We're not just seeing what's down the coast, you actually have to move there and walk there and things. We've left this bit a bit more open and exposed deliberately. That's good. We could put in some palm trees down the bottom, I guess. That might be a good idea, just to give you an idea of what's going on. So, rocky rocks. These palm trees are in. All the palm trees that we've put in the bottoms have been in Shoreline Rock 2, right? Kind of like that idea. You and I think you probably rotate you around a little bit. There you go. Terrain objects, nothing selected. And then trees. Give me some palm trees. We can't use any more pines because they're done. Palm trees, big palm tree. T to transform, drag it into the ground. R to rotate, spin it around. We don't even need to look at the top, but you know, because we know what's going on. We know what the story is. R to rotate, and then I like putting palm trees in threes, so we'll do that. Into the ground. R to rotate, just rando spin, and then we'll do the same thing over here. One, and then hit rando spin. Ooh. T, rando spin, and that'll probably be fine. Scroll the way down. Palm sapling, that's what I was looking for. Palm sapling, let's give it a spin. Palm sapling, other palm sapling, give it a spin. And then you give you a spin. Same thing over here, some palm saplings. Spinning is because otherwise you would just have the same plant in the same orientation 15 times if you just dragged them out of the thing. I think 3 is fine. Okay, cool. Now we've got some palm trees, and they're on the beach, because I always figure that, you know, the actual coconuts are just going to wash up on the shore, and this is where they grow, because they've washed up from the ocean. Palm trees over here, palm trees over there, sort of the inside, and then up where the seeds of trees can just flutter and float around. Then you get the ficuses. That's beginning to look a little bit more like a hillside, like a mountain hillside. But we got some military stuff here, military installation stuff. We got a building that's going to have stuff in it. And then that goes with that. Wonderful. Good. And we have open areas for the player to build on as well. So that the beach with groins, it can build houses and things. It's looking pretty good, I'm going to be honest. So, good. Excellent. Yeah. And one of the things you obviously do is once you put stuff in like this, yeah, let your mind just focus. Let your subconscious just work on it. That's it. So don't beat yourself up over trying to come up with things to build. Just say, you know what? My subconscious can get on with just making the island while I'm doing things like cooking dinner, getting a coffee, using the bathroom, being in the shower, all that sort of stuff. And then usually, especially in the shower, I get that eureka moment of, oh, you know what? I could add this to the island, and then you just go and do it. So yeah, don't try and rush things. Take it easy. Take it easy on yourself as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for the time being. So if you like this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe if you haven't subscribed, if you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.